Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen. I am so glad that you guys have tuned in with us on today. I'm going to ask you to please like, tag, and share this conversation so that we can continue to build our social media audience as well. For those of you who are out there, hey, we've had a whole string of good weather, and as in Michigan, you know how we say that if you want to know what the weather's going to be like,
wait 5 minutes.
Wait 5 minutes. And so it is raining out there, still a decent spring day. However, Old Man Winter is trying to make a comeback, and so he will be returning tomorrow morning. He says he's going to be back in town, Rob.
Yep. All week, as a matter of fact.
All week long, with the possibility of snow showers on.
I didn't hear the snow.
Yeah, I heard the S word.
Hush.
Definitely for tomorrow. So that voice that you're hearing is the smooth sound of the Rob Father. Rob, why don't you give yourself a commercial in terms of you coming on? Because he is always putting down the hits every Sunday afternoon. The dude is diligent. He is making it happen. Classic Soul, Rob, tell us about it.
Well, my name is Rob. Let me put my mic on first here. Yeah, my name is Rob Father, and I do the Classic Soul Sunday each and every Sunday from 1 to 5 p.m. here on KISS 107.1, but you can listen to on Odyssey or our KISS website at kisswtlz.com. And we play hits from the 70s through the early 2000s.
So we're glad to have him with us. He is the producer of the show. He makes sure that I get everything in, and he always covers my bases. He fact checks me, and he gives me the look when I've gone too far. So I greatly appreciate Rob to be here. And for those of you who are coming out in the social media streams, we certainly thank you for continually tuning in. You can listen to this show as well as other shows that are have been in the past, or those are coming up. By going to kisswtlz.com. Some of them are logged right there, usually a few days after Rob puts it into a podcast, and you can come and listen to this and other shows in their entirety. We want to give a shout out. First person in the stream is Saginaw Cap, and with the statement Big Bro, I'm assuming that's no one other than Jeffrey Bulls. Jeff, you have made the conversation for today's show, so I think it's going to be good for you to stick around for just a little bit. And as you all know, what we love to do here is we like to talk about what is on my mind. And so I have a few things, Rob.
Actually, let's talk what's on your mind. I don't know what's talk what's on your mind. I don't know what's on your mind.
I want to share what is on my mind. You know, there's a lot that we needed to talk about, Rob. And some of the stuff didn't even make it. You won't find it in your runner show for today, but some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today. First of all, our hearts and prayers are with the families in Alabama. We know that in Alabama, Sweet 16 birthday party turned deadly. I don't know if you're just over the course of the night, about 10 p.m. on Saturday, 15 injured and 4 killed in Dadeville, Alabama. It's the continuation of what we have been saying has been one of the major problems that we see out there, that nothing is going to happen because people love their guns. But the suspect, I'm believing, is still at large. I don't think that they have necessarily defined a suspect.
I don't know yet.
So we're waiting for that. But it is another mass shooting. We've had more mass shootings than we've had days in this year. But we're continually praying for that family as they pick up the pieces. A young man was on his way to college, had a great opportunity, and now his life has been snuffed off. Now, Rob, I'm glad Rob is running around here with a mask. I'm thinking he probably has a cough or something like that. He doesn't want to infect me, but we can cough it out in the room if you want to, Rob. But Rob, this is what when I thought about this, I wanted to come to you and talk. The U.S. government, all of their secrets have been placed. Not all of them, but a lot of their secrets have been placed on social media platforms. The government recognized this probably about after a month or so of them being out there. Young man is being touted as the culprit. 22-year-old, I believe he is a reservist.
He's 21 years, a National Guard reservist.
Yeah, National Guard reservist, who is working basically in the computer lab in the background. He's doing the IT stuff that the government needs to have done. He's also a gamer. The story is that he was putting this information out there just to kind of tout the kind of stuff that he had access to some of his friends. Rob, do you think he is really the culprit, or is this or is he the scapegoat for a big mess up, and the government doesn't really know what to do, so he's going to be the fall guy?
My experience, since I worked in telecommunications for 20 years, I've had a top secret SCI clearance, secret compartmental.
I knew it.
Clearance. So it's a chain of custody thing. And so if I had to say so, unlike the Walker incident, which happened back in the 80s, which many people may not remember, but there was a Walker incident that happened in the same field, except it was in the Navy at that time. It's a lack of custody situation. And he may be the scapegoat, but there's other aspects. Because when they get the investigation done, said and done, heads are going to roll way above his pay grade.
Oh, absolutely.
He's just a lower guy there. And he just happened to get caught. But there should have been a chain of custody, because when it comes to that sort of information that he had access to, especially in IT or intelligence specialist systems and whatnot, that is very tightly controlled. You have to sign off on certain things. There's certain aspects you have to do. And things have not changed that much since I was in the Navy 20 years ago.
Rob, it's interesting because when you go to a hospital or you go to a university, so to speak, every time you log into information, it leaves a trail that you log in.
Yes, that's right.
So this is, I guess, it's the conspiracy theorist in me.
But let me put a caveat to that, though. There is an exception. There is a loose exception.
Okay.
If the information that he got a hold of was already obsolete or due to be declassified, then that's why they said we took.
But Rob, but if you listen to what they're talking about, some of this stuff is dealing with Russia and Ukraine.
Yes.
And they've had to change some of their tactics because this information has been put out there.
I'm getting to that. I think a lot of that stuff is spin, because because the information that's actually active is not given to the lowest guy there
on the totem pole.
No. I mean, that stuff takes a while to get down for him or her to operate. So I'm saying that it's my suspicion that the information that he got a hold of, especially if you could take it home, was already declassified or was already trashed somehow, put in a burn bag, and somehow he got a hold of it, or some burn facility, and he got a hold of it, and he knew how to get to that. All this is probably going to come out later on in weeks to come, but the information he had, they had to already been obsolete or was on the way to be obsolete or declassified.
The conspiracy theorist in me thinks different, Rob, because now the thing is, we have a lot of dinosaurs that are in our military. And
excuse me.
We have a lot of dinosaurs that are in our military. I didn't say that you were one of them. However, I know that there is a need, and technology is moving much faster than retirement is for a lot of our military.
Right.
So we have a lot of people in military who are not as savvy in technology and computers. And so there is a young surgence of individuals who need higher level clearances than would normally be given to a 21-year-old, because they are actually functioning and working on systems that require that information to be available. And I know that these young people are making that happen. I think it is what it is. I don't think we'll ever find out. I think that they like keeping Americans in the dark and just make us think that we're safe. But I think that it's quite interesting, and y'all mark my words when I say this, that I think it's interesting that this comes out after we see the presence of these unidentified flying objects, one of which was shot down and supposedly kept for information. They are always watching. I think Big Brother watches us, but I think somebody else is watching Big Brother as well. Just my particular thoughts, and we're going to move on.
Okay.
I want to give out some awards today. I'm going to give out 2 awards, and these are things that we're going to celebrate, Rob, on a regular basis. And I think this is an opportunity for our community to pay attention and to get involved with. And so from here moving forward, we're going to give out, and I've given out the one award before, the Clown Crown. But today we're going to give out the Gold Star Award, and we're also going to continue to give out the Clown Crown. Today's Gold Star recipient, and let me tell you what the Gold Star represents. The Gold Star Award represents, to me, from Straight Talk, it represents the fact that an individual has done something exceptional. They have done what I think is the biggest and most important thing in the village, was to work collaboratively within the village. They've worked hard. They've done an excellent job of bringing the community and its resources together, and they have made a meaningful impact in terms of how they've been able to engage our community. So our Gold Star Award represents excellence in the village. All right. The other award, the Clown Crown Award, and the Clown Crown, as you could imagine, number 45, the former president has received that a number of times. I don't think that needs, but it's the clown in the crowd. It is the one who I think has done something, and it is not to clown anybody, so to speak, but it is just to say you got to do better than what you're doing, okay? And that's what that award represents. The Gold Star Award recipient for this year is Miss Laura Jones. You've seen her in the show before. She's been here. She's been on Community Connections with Joyce. And I want to give her the Gold Star Award because I'm really impressed with what she has been doing with her company, ALM Freight. You know, we talked about all of those trucks she's doing with Amazon. She did what I would call a Resurrection Day egg hunt. And it was absolutely amazing. The community was involved. She did a great job of getting people to work collaboratively. There were bikes and other prizes. And it wasn't just for the people in the village, but someone inside the village did something extremely well for the entire community. So Laura Jones, you get the Gold Star Award. I am so proud of you, so proud to call you friend. Next time, please call me. Well, as a matter of fact, I know that you got something going on. Those of you who are looking for places to sow in the community, she is one of those individuals that when she does something, she's going to do it well. She's a supporter of so many other things in the community. And we're going to, when she comes, she's going to make an appeal to sow the next time she's on our show, and where you can get involved and what you can do to help. And that includes yours truly. We want to make sure that people who are doing things and doing it well get the support of the community. The village is behind you, Laura. Congratulations on your Gold Star Award. Rob, we need to come up with some actual award. I got to find an actual award, a Straight Talk Gold Star Award. But Laura, you get it in our hearts and our minds on today. And what were you going to say?
I think a microphone is great because, she's Straight Talk. She's on Straight Talk or Community Connections. She's here on the mic. She's putting the information out to the people to listen to.
Okay, then we got to do that once a month. Now I got a few dollars put out that, Rob. We're gonna work it out. Laura, you are our Gold Star Award for this month. I'm so proud of you. And
congratulations to her.
Congratulations, Laura. And then also now the Clown Crown Award. Drum roll, please.
You're listening to a previous recorded broadcast.
And this goes. I don't know what he is over here. There we go. Let's celebrate. All right. Now we're going to talk about the recipient for the Clown Crown Award. And it goes out to Mike Thompson. Mike Thompson, I think he has his own write-ups that he's doing now, calling them Saginaw Daily. And this is interesting because I really like Mike. And that's why I said the Clown Crown Award has nothing to do whether I like you or not. It is not a targeted thing of hate speech, but it is to say we got to do better. And I'm going to talk about why you're going to actually, let's talk about it right now. On the past couple of months, Saginaw CAP, Community Action for the People, and that led out by Jeffrey Bulls, they have been doing these CAP talks. They've been doing them actually over the past few months. The very first one that we did on housing, Straight Talk was a party to what they were doing. We've been busy these past couple of times, but these last month and then again this month, they had what was called a roundtable, and they were doing these at SBRC in one of the spaces up there, extremely well attended by city council members. The community has been there. We've had police officers, all kinds of individuals that were there. I was really impressed by the effort and the way the community works and the way that life works. I think that there has to be a delicate, friendly tension between people who make laws and the community leaders to challenge and to put in check and to make sure that everything is thought about as we make the decisions that we're doing. And I would really like to celebrate CAP and they're doing so. Now, people may not like it and it doesn't feel good and nobody likes to be challenged, but I think that it creates an environment for us to get the best of everything. So we're getting to why Mike Thompson gets the Clown Crown Award. Please share this with him because I want him to know this. It's not something that I'm going to hide. It's something I was waiting for him to actually send it out. Someone else forwarded it to me. I was waiting for him, Rob, to actually, normally I get an email with the articles that he writes, and he does an amazing job at writing. And in most cases, I think that he always hits it spot on. But let me tell you why I have an issue with this one. The CAP talk on last time and then again this past Saturday was really talking about why the state police are here in our community. It was talking about policing and what we have to do, what are some of the issues. But I know that this week their goal was to turn the corner. I hate that I couldn't do it, and I'll tell you why I couldn't be there. It's not that I've fallen off. It's not that I don't believe in what they're doing, or if I'm not in the charge, I don't get involved. I don't play those games. I love what they're doing and how they're continually keeping the issues that everyday community citizens find important. Now, the problem that I have with the article, appreciate you. Thanks for the community and coming out. That's for the community that's out there. This is the problem that I have. For a long time, I shouldn't say for a long time, but for some time, a couple of years, there has been a real negative funk that had been in in the air and in our community. I'll say it this way, that I thought was very divisive. And the posturing of the individual and how they operated with things, I was never a fan of. I said that from the first time I found out that this person was in the community when they were running for public office. And what I saw was the hijacking of momentum that was created by the village by individuals who don't really have a real stake in the community. And so once that spirit was excised and no longer existed, and I ain't saying no names, y'all know what I'm talking about. Not exercised. They worked it out too, but excised. Then we were able, I think, to put things in a good position. I think that our mayor is loved by so many people in our community. And she is such a good part of what happens in our community. And I love, absolutely, I told y'all, Jeff is my brother. We don't agree about everything, but the things we agree about, we go hard together on, right? And I'm always trying to do big brother, little brother. So come on, little brother. So we're doing these things. And we were at a point, I think, where, and I'm not just talking about our mayor, but I'm talking about a city council. I'm talking about our community activists, where they were actually coming to a table. I know our Mayor Pro Tem Annie Bench has been very vocal about wanting to work with community organizations. Councilman Reggie Williams, this is where that guy gets it really well. Reggie, shout out to you. If I had another crown, another gold star award, I would probably give it to you. You and Monique have been doing a great job. And as crazy as I think he is, Michael Flores has been very good with working with community organizations. I'm going to give you all that. And I think that we had finally turned a corner in our community with the negativity and some of the issues that were there, because I think that other individuals came in with their own desire, their own thoughts on what should happen in our community, and we're muddying the waters in terms of who could work together. And we may not all like each other, be the best of friends. That doesn't necessarily have to be the case in order for us to be effective in what we are able to accomplish. So I want to say that, Mike, this article, I think, is a very slanted article. And this is my opinion. And on Straight Talk, they put the disclaimer after I leave here, right?
Which article are you referring to?
There's an article that's out that is in reference to the relationship between CAP and City Council. There's a huge picture of our mayor that is not the most flattering picture. And it comes down to the fact, as City Council brought the state police in to ask some questions, there was a whole meeting, it plays on the fact that maybe people were not able to make the meeting. People got jobs and work and things of that nature. When you're working in community activism, it is a volunteer position. You're not getting paid to do this stuff. Right. So people couldn't make it. So it capitalized on that. Then it also capitalized on some very small phrasing. The mayor asked, be specific. And I think this is one of those situations when you have folks who outside the village again that are commentating. This is what I tell you, you can't air all your laundry in public. My grandmother used to always say, you don't put everybody in family's business. But this individual, and I think that, Mike, I think this is a simple place of you getting it wrong. But I thought that the article that you wrote was very slanted. I thought that it did not paint a good position or a good light in terms of what our city council is attempting to do with those who are community activists. I don't think that it painted well CAP in terms of what they represent in terms of the community. One thing y'all got to get together, CAP is here to stay. It is not because of me. It's not because of anything else. It is because they have captured the attention and the ears and the heart of the community. Congratulations, Cap. It's been long awaited that we have individuals that would stand up for the common Joe. And I say, hey, the whole community should get involved. And what you don't like about it, don't start another organization. Make the fact that how you feel known in that particular organization, so that there's now an entity that can take the concerns of the people to those who are in power. One of the most important things for change to happen is that people find an effective way to speak truth to power. So, Mike, I want you to read that article again, because when you send that out to the Veronica Horns of the world and the Garbers and all of the other individuals of the world, it appears as though the organization, and there may be a couple of ones out there, but none have stood up like Cap have for the voices and the concern for those who are voiceless. It would appear as though they are just spiteful, mean, and are looking for something to complain about and not really working towards real solution. And I think that in this particular situation, your slant on that article was a bit skewed. And so I'm going to say, hey, we're giving you the Clown Crown Award. You are still a friend. I'm going to say what I got to say. And I hope that everyone that's involved understands exactly what I'm saying. Rob?
No, the same. We talk about Mike Thompson, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, so let's make sure that we got that. Now that's over. It's out of my system. Continue listening to read Saginaw Daily, because I think he does an amazing job. He has always been a great writer, and I think that in this particular situation, some personal, I'm not sure if he's feeling some kind of way or what it is, just kind of slant the conversation. All right, so I want us to now turn, Rob, I want to talk about a couple of things that I never spend time talking about. On yesterday was Saturday the 15th. You guys know that I'm a part of that I put together a program called Dow Treasure Academy here in the city of Saginaw. This is actually our second year. It's crazy. I started with these kids as ninth graders. They are now completing 10th grade. This will be 2 years into the program. This has been an amazing experience for me. I thought I was going to be blessing kids and empowering young people. That has happened, but I have found so much more in areas where our community can really get involved. And I want to really talk to those out there who work with young people, who encourage young people, who inspire young people to be their best. The Dow Treasure Academy, we had an opportunity. So this is STEAM and leadership: science, technology, engineering, arts, that's the A, and math. And on yesterday, we had an immersion in arts. One of our things that our kids never get the opportunity to do, Rob, is have access to theater in a very good way. You know, we may go to Pit and Balcony, no shame, because Pit and Balcony is the entrance where many people get a step in community theater, but we never get the opportunity to show them Broadway musicals at a very high height. So we were blessed. The executive producers of the Broadway musical, The Hits, Dionne Warwick, Damian Elliott, Bob Grice, and also Thaddeus Bullard. They put together this musical. There's 100 songs in a 90-minute musical. It is absolutely phenomenal, Rob. It is one of the best musicals that I've ever seen in my entire life. All of the cast members of this were from the ages of 10 to 22. Phenomenal 10-year-old individuals out there doing it and doing it big. And I wanted to show our young people that there is nothing for them to fear, that if they are bold and courageous and they stand strong and stand in their power, that there is nothing that they can do. Also, to show them how young people work. And when they work on their craft and they work on their tool, use the tools that they are given, that they can be so assertive and they can command an audience. And it was an amazing opportunity. I want to say thank you to Thaddeus Bullard, a.k.a. Titus O'Neil from the WWE. He and one of our partners from Microsoft, Shire Everett, they gave us a call. It's going to be in town. We want your kids there. We got the kids there, and the kids told me this is the absolute best field trip that we've ever had. It was amazing. We were together from 2 p.m. On Saturday until just after midnight. By the time we got home, we went out to dinner to a really nice restaurant, because etiquette and being able to have table manners is such an essential part of really teaching young people, you know, how to be effective in their personal presentation. Right. Absolutely amazing. So I said that to say this, all right? And I know that people, I don't talk about those kids all the time. I'm excited to be able to work on them, but I'm going to say this. I said that to say this. The Dow Treasure Academy, we can call it 2.0, if you would, Rob. I've had so many parents say, hey, how can we get our kids involved? And I need y'all to listen. Please be proactive and don't wait till after this happens. The kids can get into the program. We've met with our funders, and they're saying, hey, listen, we love what you're doing. We're going to add more to what you're doing. What does the future of the DTA Academy? And they told me to dream a big dream. I don't have no problem with dreaming, Rob. Mm-hmm. And so as we move forward, I want you parents who have individuals that will be coming in to the 9th grade next year. So that means 8th graders, middle schoolers that will be going to high school. If you have 8th graders going into high school, fall of 2023, to get a hold of me, post it to the page, send me a direct message, send me an email at Kareem@KareemBowen.com. Super simple. And let me know if you have individuals that are going to be 9th graders next year. We're putting together maybe 1 or 2 more cohorts for this. This is STEAM and leadership. So they work with the top tech companies around the globe. Microsoft is our tech partner. Dow is our sponsoring partner. And I say this because I want you guys to understand the impact that we can make. Talk to your community or your community engagement leaders on your job. If you work for General Motors, say, hey, I want General Motors to do something in my community. If you work for Nexteer, say, hey, I want you to do something in my community. This is how that engagement happens. If you work for Michigan Bill, I don't know if they're still around, AT&T, whoever it is, tell them that you want them to make an impact in your community. This is how we get community engagement and how we get those corporate dollars in our community. So Dow is agreed that they're going to move forward. And I want to tell you guys some of the things that have come out of this really fighting for our kids from Dow. And I literally said, listen, you guys are in our backyard. Whatever good happens with Dow, happens in Midland. But we are all impacted. If something were to go wrong with Dow, we are all impacted by what takes place. That's economically, environmentally, and I need you all to really sow more in our community. And they responded. So because of the Dow Treasure Academy and its affiliation and fighting for young people in our community, we now have more cohorts coming of that, where kids are getting exposed to corporate leaders, executives, presidents, CEOs of all kinds of corporations, both hip hop, to business. It's amazing. We have now students that are doing co-op with Dow. I said, wait a minute, there were co-ops back in the day. Can we get that? And they began to work like, hey, this never stopped. Why isn't Saginaw involved? Mm-hmm. Now, Saginaw students are intentionally being looked at for co-op positions. That's where you work while you're in school and build that relationship. That's amazing. Our young people did the March Against Gun Violence on MLK Day. Now we have something new that's happening, and I was making sure that the schools were okay with this. We're going to release this. Microsoft, our tech partner for the program, is now going to be engaging our Saginaw public school students. I don't know where y'all kids ran off to Hemlock and to Heritage and everywhere else because you didn't want them in SPD, but it's getting ready to go down. So they're bringing in a program that's called Microsoft Heals. And what they're going to be teaching is our kids, starting this coming fall, 2023 is our targeted time, will be learning artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, coding, and programming as a part of the curriculum of the school. I didn't want to do this for everybody. I told you my focus is on the village. Mm-hmm. So they'll be doing that, and it's going to be trained by Microsoft instructors. We'll have, computer science champions from the community that are assisting. So there's an opportunity for us to really do something. That is something that can change the very lives of our young people in our community, because there's so many tech companies that are saying, look, you don't need a 4-year degree. If you can show proficiency in some of the coding languages such as Python, or if you can show us, these basic skills, or you can get certifications in AI or cybersecurity, we'll bring you in and pay you top dollars. These are things that can change our community generationally. We also have a Toastmaster Club, Rob, that's coming up for kids, Saginaw High School students. Our kids are putting together, and that's going to teach kids to be able to speak in public forums and to present themselves. We often talk about elevator pitches. What would you say if you had 30 seconds to really present yourself to someone, to an employer, to someone who was a key figure? So these things are coming by way of an investment that Dow made. And it's so interesting. Dow, I salute you. This is not something, this is not paid programming. But when companies sow not only dollars, Rob, but their personal time into communities, we are all winners.
Right.
And so they've provided opportunities and access. And I just want to say thank you. So there's also that. There's a podcast that our kids are going to be doing. So they made an investment in our entire community wins. I want to give some shout outs to some superstars. Tiffany Terrain and everybody out there in the Saginaw community knows who she is. She is from the Office of Inclusion for Dow. She has literally been all over the city of Saginaw. She is on my core team with Dow as we talk about where we're going with Dow Treasure. Mitch Davis, I didn't even know that he was out there. Someone says there's a guy named Mitch Davis that's doing something in the community. He works with corporate development. He reached out to us. Our students were able to go to Central Michigan and work in their business college and do some activations as it related to business, and we're continuing that relationship so that when they get ready to go to college, that there's funding and opportunities and relationships already. We spent an entire day there. Greg Martin, his title or his actually says environmental analytics leader. Now let me tell you what happened. I was hip to him by one of the mentors of the Dow Treasure Academy. And what I found out was that he has been working with Saginaw High School, their seniors, going in, doing professional headshots with Dow's, corporate photography company, then bringing in executives and teaching about the elevator pitch, going through resumes and working on their resumes, and helping these individuals prepare, creating LinkedIn profiles. And I saw this, I was like, yo, we can do this because we've got, access to LinkedIn, the corporate company. And when I saw this, I said, this is absolutely amazing. So we're trying to get Arthur Hill on board. These are some amazing things that have come because of the Dow Treasure Academy. These are some amazing things that people have been doing in the community that have gone unsung. And, I will sing the praises of anybody who invests any of their time into the lives and to the hearts of our youth in our community. So once again, if you're interested and you have 8th graders that will be going into the 9th graders, they have to be Saginaw Public School students, SPSD. Give me a shout out, an email, a text, and let me know, hey, I would like to get my kids. Now, just because they want to do it, we don't accept them like that. There is a process. So the kids must fill out an application. They've got to get 2 letters of recommendation by administrators of the school. Then they also have to write an essay. And we don't take the best kids, only the best kids. We take a mixture of all kids. So I don't want every kid to be the top kid in this class. I want some kids who are struggling. We are working and have professional tutors with these kids. Every Monday, their math grades are going through the roof. We're leaning in, having communication and talking with these young people. I am so excited that this opportunity is here. And all of you out there that work with young people, I want you to lean in. Let's partner, let's connect, and let's make great things happen. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about what we really want to talk about today, which is reparations for ADOS. Reparations for ADOS, and that's African descendants of slaves. Stick, stay, don't go away. We'll be back with more Straight Talk.
You're listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1.
Spring has sprung mid-Michigan, and business is blooming. That means you could turn over a new leaf in a nicer, newer car. Ryan Wasik here from Bell Wasik GMC Buick, home of the lifetime warranty. And I'm so excited about spring, I wet my plants. So come celebrate with me, and I'll give you up to $4,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value for your old ride based on the price of the car you pick. If the bloom is off the rose with your current ride, you could get way more than it's worth. Do other dealers rake you through the mud over past credit mishaps? We're rooting for you. We weed out the banks that don't want to approve you. So bring me your old ride, and you could get up to $4,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value based on the price of the car you pick. But hurry, this deal will get picked over soon. I'm Ryan Wasik, and I'm your dealer for the people. See all the cars at RyanApproved.com. That's RyanApproved.com.
Credit requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price determines actual trade allowance. Negative equity may be refinanced. Offer absolutely ends April 30th, 2023.
Menards carries a great selection of pet food and other wildlife supplies. Attract a wide variety of your favorite birds to your feeder with quality KT bird food blends. KT Premium Blends offer superior nutrition that will keep them coming back. Right now, pick up a 10-pound bag of KT Wild Bird Food for only $13.99 after 11% off at Menards. Good through April 23rd. Savings or mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards. RocketGrabPlus.com.
This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for Sullivan's. You are going to get a $20 gift certificate to Sullivan's for only $10. Half off. Sullivan's has a great selection of burgers to choose from, or maybe you want something lighter. They also have delicious salads, as well as a variety of seafood items to try. Snag your voucher today before they sell out and head to Sullivan's for dinner. It's all at RocketGrabPlus.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
You're listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on Kiss 107.1.
Hey, this is Kramer. We're back with more Straight Talk. I want to give a shout out. Yes, Jeff Bulls, second account. I see you out there. You and Robert are yelling at me at the same time. American. I get so caught up in my conversation. Not African, American descendants of slaves. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But I think it's a big difference because African descendants of slaves is not here in the U.S., but it's the American descendants of slaves. Those who have slavery as a part of their history that are African American. That's what we refer to them now. African Americans. I am still just black. Descendants of those individuals and the atrocities of slavery and continue to live and to reside here in the United States. And Rob, when we talk about reparations, what is the thing that comes to mind? Let's just have a basic conversation. And those of you out there in social media, what comes to mind when you think about reparations? We've heard the word, but we don't really have strong conversations about it.
Well, it's a justification, usually like a payment of some form, doesn't have to necessarily be monetary, to make up for the wrongs that were done to a people or society. In our case, we did that for the Japanese. We've done it for a few other people and other ethnic groups. We just haven't done it for Black Americans, or African Americans, if you will. And we still standing for it now. Some would say, well, the civil rights passage was that sort of thing. I don't agree, or a few other things were, but I don't agree. I think there should be some kind. And then how are we going to cover that, especially with all the mixed races going on and what have you?
Well, I mean, you said something that was important. You said it's like a payment. No, it is a payment.
Right, payment, a compensation. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily be cash though. It could be in some other
No.
form.
It needs to be in cash as well. There may be other aspects of this, and I want you guys to listen. And I know a lot of people get taught.
Well, I say not cash, because see, I'm going back to the 2 acres and a mule situation that we're still waiting for. That may be a metaphor, but that's where I was going with that.
Okay. Second cap, African American term needs to go away. I don't like it. I'm black. It doesn't properly identify our lineage on this soil. We are Black American.
I'm Negro.
See, bro, you had me till you got to the American Negro. Man, okay. Yeah, but no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I do not like the term African American. Mm-hmm. I've never been to Africa. I'm a black man in America. I'm a Black American. That's how I like to define myself. Now, how other people define
the same way.
It's how they define. Now, I know a lot of people don't like this conversation, Rob. Mm-hmm. But I think that we really need to understand something that's very important. As we talk about the things that are coming up, we have another political election that's coming up. And another, 18 months, we'll be in full swing of electing another president, more senators, more governors across the country. And they're going to be giving you their stomping ground pitches. Yep. They're going to be talking about what they're going to do for your community. They're going to talk about the changes that they were going to make. And Rob, what was the one big thing when Sleepy Joe came to the platform? I said I really wasn't excited about voting for him. I definitely wasn't voting for the other person on the other side. But I told you what was going to happen. If it didn't get done right away, it would never happen. What were we talking about?
I think with the John Lewis bill,
the Voting Rights Act.
Right.
And we saw that. I said there's always going to be something else that's going to trump it, right?
Right.
So we saw these these bills that were presented that literally gave some structure back to things that have been excavated and really gutted from the voting rights bill of the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And so these were opportunities to make sure that certain things that were being done statewide, and we see this now happening everywhere. Yep. Immediately after that national election, we saw a gutting effort, a staunch effort to change the way and the availability of the vote.
Yep.
And I said that if we didn't do something immediately, that this was going to be upstaged by other things that would take place. Nothing has happened. And I'm really upset at, now you said the American Negro. I am really upset with them American Negroes in the Congressional Black Caucus who are there really fighting for the things that are supposed to matter. They elected a president that was on his deathbed in the ER, in the ICU unit. They resurrected him, got him into office. And one of the single most important things that should have taken place and passed when we held both the Congress and both bodies of Congress was the passing of civil rights legislation. It didn't go anywhere, and we tap danced around these issues, and now we're into another situation. We're no longer in control of both parties, both parts of Congress, and it looks as though these things are not going to happen. I'm going to read what this comment. Other groups have properly delineated the Asians to AAPI, lineage matters and reparations. Just being black is a catch-all phrase that dilutes or justice claim as Black Americans. Everybody black isn't at us. I agree with you, but I still want to be called black. That's you, my man.
And not everybody's black is black.
CBI.
I'm just putting it out there.
I mean, but there is a difference, and
Right.
what Jeff is saying is duly noted.
Right.
I still want to be. I'm a Black American. There is a difference from blacks who are descendants of slaves versus blacks who come over here, because there are still some Africans who were not a part of slavery that come here.
Right.
We have,
and they're white Africans.
We ain't even gonna go down that.
I'm just saying,
we ain't gonna go down that road. Rob is trying to get me off my topic.
I'm just saying,
the Africans, when you rape a land and take the nation and you sit there and you put a flag up, it don't make it
Right.
yours. But that's a whole nother conversation. But I think that anything that we do as it relates to putting together a political agenda for our community, when we talk about having a Black agenda for urban communities, I think these conversations must include the conversation on reparations. And we're going to talk about why, Rob. It's interesting that we must understand this fact. The money is here. We have the money, Rob.
The sad part is that we've been talking about, I remember Malcolm X was talking about reparations when I was a kid. Not when I was a kid, but this is speeches that I heard. And we've been talking about this thing for generations, like we've been talking about.
But why? Why have we been talking about generations and it's not happened, Rob?
Because we keep pushing it back, and a lot of it has to do with people don't want to face the issue that is an acknowledgement of the sins of America.
Well, that, and if you were to talk, and some of the greatest minds in Black America will tell you that the single most important issue in Black America is the fact that we are dealing with white supremacy.
Right.
And so, and when we think white supremacy, Rob, we often think about the Ku Klux Klan, the skinheads, but we're not only talking about those extreme issues of white supremacy. When I talk about white supremacy, I'm talking about the ideology, the thought process that white America understands what's best for the country. That white America understands what's best for Black America. And we may not say that, and they wouldn't dare say that in today's society. They wouldn't say it or verbalize it, but we see it carried out in policies and the way things are being taken care of. And so it's important for us to understand that we have to begin to create a dynamic that we can, all I want is our own. Sharice Steele Phillips is saying, how does reparations work with mixed heritage? Many slaves are impregnated by white slave masters. Absolutely. And that is a part of the atrocity of slavery. Believe it or not, most of us, Rob, we see how light-skinned Rob is. He didn't get that way by himself.
Well, my maternal mother's side, white. My great grandmother was white, so you know what? I can't help. It is what it is.
Absolutely. So this is the thing. Before we strike it down in our community, let's talk about what it looks like and who has received it first, because I think it's important that we understand that when Black Americans who are descendants of slaves, when we talk about reparations, the governing body acts like we're talking or speaking a foreign language. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you talking about? We don't understand it. The monies are there. How do we know the monies are there, Rob? Because we have a war with Ukraine that was not intended to take place, and we're into the billions of what we are spending. We are the largest funders. If we didn't take care of the entire world, but we took care of our own people, we're running up payments to NATO and to the UN, and we're carrying the brunt of what takes place.
In how the 10-year war in Afghanistan. That was 10 years.
And so when we look at the money is available, and I want to explain to you that you got to understand that the money is available. There are companies. We are a capitalistic society, and there is a ton of money that goes unused in coffers. Probably should have our names on it, but it does not. Why are you looking and laughing?
No, because this question comes up in every discussion about reparations. How much then should each Black American, mixed or otherwise,
right?
If he or she has a quote drop of blood in their blackness in their body, how much should they get then? Should it be $1?
I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to be distracted by that.
No, but I'm saying that it comes up every time.
No, absolutely, because it's a distraction.
Right.
Because we need to get to the yes first. Yes, is there a need for reparations? Absolutely so. Now, let me say this. Reparations is the making or amends for a wrong one has done by paying money to or otherwise helping those who have been wronged. That is a Webster's. You can Google that. You can Merriam Dictionary. That's what they're saying. It is a money for wrongs that have been attributed to a people. When I look at the United States of America, the great nation that we are, I love my country. And when I look at our country, and we really should be see our country 'tis of thee, because we built this land. Now, when I look at our nation, I look at it and I look at all of the atrocities that we've been a part of. To me, there is none that is more heinous than the atrocities of slavery and how it has impacted us as a people. Now, when we think about this, the UN says this, that when you've been done wrong and you get caught with your hands in the cookie jar, you got to pay up. Now, listen to this. The Treaty of Versailles, many of us understand this historically. This was where the Germans were forced to pay reparations. Even prisoners, Rob, prisons. When you go to prisons, if you have wronged something, they have something called restitution.
Right.
Which is you have to pay the government back for what they've done. You've got to pay families back for the hurt or pain you've caused them. And it is something that is understood. The UN defines reparation as this: adequate, effective, and prompt funds to promote justice by redressing gross violations of international human rights law or civil violations of international humanitarian law. When we think of what has happened to the Negro slaves in these United States of America, then we would begin to understand that what the UN understands is important, which the United States is one of the greatest funders of what happens with the UN, one of the greatest voice of humanitarianism around the world, has failed, as Martin Luther King said. They wrote us a check that came back insufficient funds. We were promised 40 acres and a mule and still waiting for 1 acre and a go-kart. You understand what I'm saying?
I fail to understand why the government, and I remember this from history, is not following the same pattern they used for the Japanese when they had an internment there. I'm just reading here in justice.gov, the 10-year program to compensate Japanese Americans interned during World War II and they paid over $1.6 billion. Absolutely. To 82,000 persons that they interned there, and it broke it down. Now, why can't we follow that same program?
Because they don't want to.
Oh, yes.
And that's really what it wants. And I need y'all to understand that what I need for my African American, Negro, Black American, whatever you call yourself, is stop fighting the causes against your people. It would never work. How can they give money? That's not the Japanese weren't saying don't give us the money because we got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we won't give you money because you don't know how to spend it and you're going to be broke. That was never one of the things that the Japanese talked about. But Rob, you adequately said 82,000 survivors from the Japanese internment camps. We know that during Pearl Harbor.
Yep.
The damage was estimated to be 3.1 in property loss, 6.4 in income loss as they were forced to those internment camps. And of that, since 1998, $82,000, $1.6 billion has been given out to them. And nobody's saying, well, they're not smart enough to handle their own money. When we look at the Holocaust, West Germany paid $7 billion to Israel. Apartheid, the President Thabo Mbeki, $85 billion for the atrocities that took place there. And then, we go on to talk about the what we refer to as the native indigenous people. Regardless of what color they were, there were people here when Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. And what happened to the displacement of those individuals by taking their land? Some people say, hey, they weren't given enough. I would say the same thing. Hey, the government controlled their money in trust. I would beg and fight for the same thing. But I know that those same nationalities have casinos and they have their own lands that they can run their own, have their own practices and laws. These are things that the African slave descendants, those of us who are Black that are descendants of those slaves, I always say African, American descendants of those African slaves should be able to benefit and tout as a part of our legacy.
It's not going to break the country because none of those countries that pay reparations went broke.
Absolutely. They're still functioning.
Yes,
and the United States, one of the strongest, most vital, virile countries in the world, will be okay as well. Why hasn't this happened, Rob? Because they've seen what we've done when we have taken nothing. And as they often say, you got to pull yourself by your own bootstraps. Yeah. Somebody said that whenever they've done that, they've always seen people fall over whenever that happened. But we've seen what has happened with the Greenwood District and the Rosewood District. When we're left alone, given nothing, we can create something amazing. So if they were to give us, it would level the playing field. And I would have to beg that there are a lot of places that don't want us to have equal footing. They talk DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, but they really don't want us to be included, not to an equal level, not to that we would be an equal peer or representation of who they are. I want to say this. We have to give an account for cotton's capital human cost.
No, I don't agree with that.
What's that, Rob? I missed it.
Well, Saginaw, I think Jeff's saying qualification for reparations is about being able to prove direct lineage to enslaved ancestry of this soil. But we haven't done that to the Germans or the Jews or the Japanese.
But I think that what he says is this:
okay.
If you are somebody who came here post slavery, if you were not tied to slavery, if you did not, your family, your lineage did not suffer from slavery, why would we give you money just because you're Black? I'm going to tell you, I won't give you money for Chester's pain. You don't understand what I'm saying? And so people say, well, you've never been a slave, but my life, and we're going to talk about how our lives have been impacted by generationally by the institution of slavery. And so I agree with he's saying as he puts that up there.
Now you broke it down, I understand it better now, what he said there.
Right. Sherry Long, generational wealth stopped before it was started. You better preach, Sherry Long. That's what we're talking about. So we've got to give an account for the human capital, cotton's capital human cost. What am I talking about? Cotton was the Great Britain's biggest commodity. And then when the New World was started, which is these United States of America, it became the highest grossing product in the world globally. And what took place in the southern parts of this great nation as it relates to finding this great product was responsible for all other wealth that became available to America as a nation. So I'm going somewhere because first it was cotton, and we understood cotton was the god of the South. Then it became what? Tobacco. So now we got cotton and tobacco off the blacks of slaves.
Yep.
And then we got sugarcane, the sugarcane industries. And then what we find is that every industry after that began to explode because there was a financial wealth that took place in the cotton fields. And so every country that exists in America, by virtue of their existence, Rob, benefited from the work of African slaves who were not paid for the labor. We're not talking about the 1.8 million who died in the transatlantic slave trade, who were stripped from their native lands. 400 years of oppression, 400 years of not being able to own anything, 400 years of not being paid a wage, 400 years of stealing patents and ideas for ideas that are now out there making millions and billions of dollars, Rob. There is a need for that conversation, and it goes back to a single thread, which we can refer to as the cotton field. This country paid slave owners for losing their slaves. Can you imagine that? When we built Washington, D.C., slave owners were paid for the use of their slaves to be transported in to do the work of building Washington, D.C., the mall that the world goes to see, that is the center of the free world, Rob.
Yep.
They paid the slave owners for use of their slaves, but never paid the slaves. And so when we look at where we are as a nation, we've got to make sure that we don't allow this feeling that they try to put out there like, I've never been a slave owner, you've never been slave, why should we pay you? Because every single corporation in America, I don't care if it's AT&T, Bell, Levi's, Hungry Howie's Pizza, has its birthing of its corporate ability to be created through generational wealth that came from the single source of the cotton fields. Then it was the tobacco, then sugar. American wealth started in the seat of slavery, which was the South. And so as we begin to look at this, I want us to begin to understand that if they can keep us divided about how we feel, and they want to talk about, oh, well, people would just waste their money. That's for lottery owners, not for African Americans, because we have shown that we have the ability to create great things in our country. Cherise Steele Phillips, she says, would it matter when these laws were established as to their justification for non-payment? Because it wasn't against the law. Well, see, that's the thing. A lot of what takes place, Cherise, and I think that is a very important piece to talk about. A lot of this, we hide behind things of laws that existed and say, well, it wasn't against the law. But morally, was it against moral code? Was it, I mean, if we are going to be the greatest nation of all, shouldn't the America at least come clean of its injustices? How can you hold, Afghanistan, or how can you hold Iran, or how can you hold Russia accountable when you yourself suffer from a moral lapse of what you have done to the individuals who have been so good to your nation? But that is a good place. A lot of people will say, well, it was legal then. Well, there's a lot of things that were legal that necessarily were not necessarily right. And, when they have promised us that we would have equity in this nation, that means a stake, a viable stake in what is to take place. So here is what I want to say. As we begin looking for ways to build a presence in our community, because I'm going to tell you, there are other folks who are coming together and working. I think that we continually bring forth the fight for reparations. I think that we continually bring forth the fact that we have to have a voice at the financial tables. And, there are people out there, and I'm going to say this, Representative Amos O'Neill, he has been fighting. He's been saying, put the plan together. We can get the money together for the village. And we have been talking, but we've not been writing and putting the plan together. Sherry Long, absolutely. We are at the root of all wealth in this nation, and they make laws to uphold their past wrongdoing. It's time to trump those laws. An hour goes by so fast. My producer was over there saying, yo, we got 1 minute to get up out of here. I want to thank you guys for continually showing up and tuning in and being a part of this great conversation. This is Straight Talk, where we give it to you straight, no chaser, no filter, getting to the heart of the matter from Wall Street to Main Street, the things that impact you. Thank you for continually listening in. Alma Collier, your comment is noted. God bless you all. Grace and peace.
You've been listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1. The views and opinions expressed on Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen by the host, its guest, or call-ins do not necessarily represent the opinion of this station, the staff, its owners, Alpha Media USA,